Hello, I'm William Target and welcome to episode 2 of Know Your History, where this week the focus will be on Bognor Regis town. Founded under the name Bognor FC in 1883, the club were founder members of the West Sussex Football League in 1886, a league which they would go on to win for 5 successive seasons from 1920 to 1925. In 1929, the suffix of Regis was added to the town name by King George V, leading to the club also changing their name to Bognor Regis FC. They would later add town to the end of their name in the late 1940s to avoid confusion with the local rugby club. In the late 60s and into the early 70s, Bognor Regis, by now playing in the Sussex County League, were relegated from the First Division, immediately won the Second Division, then won the First Division again the next season, earning promotion to the Southern League. This busy period in the club's history culminated with their debut appearance in the first round of the FA Cup, which ended in a 6-0 defeat to 4th Division Colchester United. The onset of the 1980s saw the club transferred to Division 1 of the Isthmian League, earning promotion in their debut season by finishing second. Over the second half of the decade, the club frequently appeared in the early rounds of the FA Cup, beating 3rd Division Swansea City in a replay in 1984, losing in the second round to Reading. The next season also saw their cup run end in the second round, suffering another heavy defeat, this time at the hands of Gillingham. After 2 first-round exits, the club reached the second round again at the end of the 80s, beating 3rd Division Exeter City before defeat to Cambridge United. It would take until the mid-90s for the club to reach the first round of the FA Cup again, where they beat Ashford Town in a replay before being dumped out yet again in the second round, this time by a 4-0 margin to Peterborough United. In the 2000s, the club would bounce around several leagues, earning promotion from the Isthmian Premier in 2003, being transferred to the newly formed Conference South, then closing out the decade by suffering successive relegations to land them back in the Isthmian Division 1 South. The following season would be one of the more painful endings to a campaign in the club's history. Top of the league by 2 points going into the final day, a draw saw the club end the season on 96 points, yet losing out on the title to Metropolitan Police on goal difference by a single goal. Dulwich Hamlet, who had finished an incredible 31 points below them in the table, then ended Bognor Regis' season in the playoffs. The following season, however, the club made amends. Once again appearing in the playoffs, the club exacted their revenge on Dulwich Hamlet in the playoff final to earn promotion to the Isthmian Premier. The 2015-16 season will be one in which the club fell agonisingly short across multiple fronts. Echoing the events of previous seasons, Bognor Regis missed out on the Isthmian Premier title by a single point, only for Dulwich Hamlet to once again fall within the playoffs. The same season saw the club defeat a number of teams in higher divisions, including Sutton United and Torquay United, on their way to the semi-finals of the FA Trophy, but they were denied a Wembley appearance by Grimsby Town. The following season they reached the playoffs once more, but this time overcame old enemy Dulwich Hamlet to earn promotion to the National League South. They lasted only 1 season in that division, however, and were relegated back into the Isthmian Premier in 2018, where they have remained ever since. Thank you for watching this episode of Know Your History. Please join me again next week. We'll be covering the history of another team in the Isthmian Premier.